Podcast. My name is George Carmi. Let's get it on. What's up, everybody? It's George Carmi here with a bunch of my boys here talking about the Washington Commanders, the 2-2-22. We got that new release today. First of all, I want to introduce my man, Rio Robinson. Man, how you doing today, Rio?
Commander Rio checking in. I'm doing lovely today. I just got a couple hours of sleep after staying up all night on Twitter Spaces and going live this morning. I got a nap in today, so I'm feeling lovely.
My man, Rio is the Ryan Seacrest of Washington Podcast Twitter. He basically is out here hustling, working harder than everyone else. He hosted the Rio Robinson, Random with Rio podcast. Thank you for being here today, Rio. Appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here, man. Fellow commanders, my comrades. What's going on, boys?
I'm going to pass it over to the legend, Corey Sanchez, host of the On the Warpath podcast. How you doing today, Corey?
I'm legendary, I guess. But I'm reported for duty, sir.
I love it, man. Appreciate you being here, man. Thank you for everything. Yeah. And my last but not least, Pascal Todd of the Tay and Todd podcast. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I am ready for service. Just tell me what to do, where to be, and that's where I'll go, and that's what I'll do. Commander
I love it, man. I love it. So, guys, what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about the Washington Commanders release. We're going to talk about basically all the different things that kind of rolled out with this. And, I want to get your impressions because I do think the fan base respects your opinions, and I respect your opinions too. So we're going to talk about that. So what we're going to do is kind of start it off. Obviously, we changed from Washington Redskins to Washington Football Team to Washington Commanders. We're going to kind of show our release video. It's about 2 minutes long. We'll get that going for the fan base. And then eventually we'll start talking about how you guys feel about it to react. Okay, so here we go.
Legacies are built
by tradition.
Just remember this.
Values.
40 men together can't lose. Okay.
Beliefs.
Born of a spirit.
1, 2, 3.
Hail to the greats that laid our foundation.
Proud of all of you, man.
Cultivated in the hearts of the people from the DMV.
Cultivated in the heart.
But even the greatest of legacies of all.
Back to pass on a quick shot.
Oh, hopefully you'll get through.
Faith.
We have one goal, one mission,
one drive.
This is so fire.
Honor our legacy
and fulfill our ultimate purpose. We are
trailblazers, battle-tested
legends,
leaders,
and one united community.
Everything we need is in this room.
We are
the Commanders.
So clean, man.
It is fresh, man. I like that a lot.
That helped.
All right, so definitely we saw the little intro video right there. A lot to take in, man. I heard y'all talking while the video was going on. So hot, the jersey looking kind of fresh. Let me pass the mic over to Rio, man. So you were working all morning long, talking about the team, talking about the whole brand release. What's your overall impressions? How do you feel being Commander Rio and a fan of the Washington Commanders right now? Let me hear what's going on.
I mean, obviously the name wasn't my top preference, but it's not about me or my preference for the name at the end of the day. We're going to be what we're going to be, and we're fans of the franchise, so we have to move forward with it. I think the package that came along with it, the stuff looks good. It looks clean. It looks professional. And I've been wanting our uniforms to have an update or a refresher for a while, because I feel like we've looked like we're from the 80s for long. And I know people are tied to the nostalgia and the history and tradition of the franchise, but y'all be all right, man. The burgundy and gold is there. The Washington's there. And the alumni, more than I've ever seen, are involved in all of this. So your precious memories are not going anywhere. Embrace the new, because this stuff looks good. I wish I could get one of those varsity jackets they had on this morning. That video you just showed, I wish I could have saw that on the Today Show when I was live streaming. I actually had to pull my phone out and watch that because Twitter already had it rolling while Doug just said, "We the Commanders."
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about the actual rolling out of the name as well. Todd, how you feeling, man? Do you feel like it was well done? Are you happy with the name? How do you feel about everything?
Yeah, I'm with Rio. For me, like, I thought the only possible name they could go with that wouldn't draw like the significant ire from the fan base and be clowned by the people was Wolves. Mm-hmm. And after that, there was really no name that I liked. And there was a bunch that I disliked. And then there was names that are just names. Commanders falls in that category. Now, I've done my fair share of clowning Commanders. I'm on record as asking what a commander is. Me and Rio and Tay and others in a group, we've spent weeks laughing about it. But now that it's the name, it's like, okay, it is. I'm just accept it. And the more negativity that's put out there about it, the more I like it, because it's like, I don't know. I understand people. Obviously, there's an attachment and stuff. But you got a lot of like whining, and the more people whine, the more I'm like, okay, well, I can't do that, so I'm just rolling with it. And then, so at that point, the name is a name. The jerseys are really good to me. Like, there's a couple things you could change, but overall, they're really good to me. The logo is similar to the Washington W that they've used the last couple of years, which I thought was fine and simple. And then I think that video that they released was really phenomenal work. So, like, I'm cool with it. But there's still going to be some, everyone else is still they're going to need some more time. I've come to terms with it. We've had a little bit of notice here, so I've come to terms with it, and I'm cool with it.
Oops, yeah, I got you 100%. Let me ask you all a question before I throw it over to Corey. Was there any way that this name would have been, like, our rollout for a new name, a new branding, was there any way it would have been successful at all? Like, even if it was Wolves or Hogs or anything like that, do you think there was any way that it would have been unanimous and have a positive reaction on this day? Or do you think it was, foregone conclusion, it's not Redskins automatic anger? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as unanimous nowadays, because even though a good majority of the fan base loved Wolves, Red Wolves, there's a large segment of the older that think it's the most elementary juvenile name ever, and think Howling is bad. Word to Kyle from Burgundy Zone. But there's no such thing as unanimous. At the end of the day, we like the same team, and if you fan the team, you'll be there when the season starts, and you'll be saluting to the Commanders at the stadium.
Right. I think that's kind of where I'm at too. Like, I think Todd brought up a good point. Like, for the most part, in regard to the team name, is Commanders my number one choice? Definitely not, right? Like, for me, I'm kind of on the record. I like Warriors, to be honest with you. I'm one of those kind of people. I like Warriors. That was my number one choice. Once that was eliminated, I kind of warmed up to Wolves, and then, Red Wolves. I could have done either one of those. I kind of roll with the punches. But, like, for me, I'm generally a positive person, and the fact that we became the Commanders, I'm like, what am I going to do about it? I can't complain. I'm not going to be mad. And I'm a DC guy. I'm from the DMV, man. It's like, whatever. If you're representing my city, representing my squad, I'm going to roll with them. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to roll with the Commanders, and I'm going to rep them hard. And people talk about, if people start coming at me, I'm going to come right back at them. It's my squad. I'm representing. So that's kind of where I'm at. Corey, how do you think, man? What's your overall impressions? Are you happy with Commanders? Upset? What's your overall impressions?
I've said this like all day. I learned to embrace the suck with this team for the first 30 years of my life, and we have a lot of us right here. We have no reason to stay connected from this team besides what's on the front of that, and it's Washington, right?
Right.
I'm like, they haven't won. They've been sloppy, but yet we stick and stay because we're loyal to our roots, right? It's always been Washington. It's always going to be Washington for me, burgundy and gold. That was the only thing I really had. I was dead set on. I want the colors to say the same. Unlike y'all, I can find anything to rock with burgundy and gold. But I thought that everything leaks. The Rams jerseys leaked early, back in 2020. So did the Chargers stuff leak. You can't prevent leaks,
Right.
and part of me just thinks that the leaks happened on purpose. So people who are on the fence about Commanders, get the jokes out, but our real fans are going to be like, it is what it is. They might not like it. I said I wasn't a proponent of a black jersey. My God, y'all, that black jersey is chef's kiss. And if it can turn me
I
away,
told you to go on, people. I like the black jersey too. I like the black jersey as well.
I was a proponent against it. I
Yeah.
said, you just can't make it work. I was just like, I said, you young rock and roll kids, I'm tired of this stuff in your black jersey.
Hooligans.
And then I was like, I said, damn, that actually looks pretty good. And
I think it looks good too, man.
I
for
mean, the
sure.
burgundy jerseys, y'all gonna have to give me a little bit of time on them road jerseys. Like y'all gonna have to pray. We're gonna have to go in intercessory prayer, like they say up in the church. And I'm gonna be like, y'all pray for me. I need to accept this. I cannot accept these white jerseys this year.
I think the white jerseys are gonna look fresh with black pants. They had the white on white today, but I think with the black pants are kind of fresh.
When you see him in prime time in a dome with good lighting, you're gonna be like, oh, all right.
Man.
So Corey, you brought something kind of interesting, right? I do think the Commander's name was kind of leaked in advance because I think they knew there was going to be some pushback regardless of what the name was going to be. So it's kind of like a soft release, kind of get the name out there, kind of get the jokes out there, kind of like lessen the blow. Because if something just came out of left field, I think it really would have kind of caught the fan base off guard. Because I do think there's a really passionate segment that were diehard Washington Redskins fans for years and years and years, and like any type of new change would have kind of disrupted them. So that kind of goes to my next question, right? I'm gonna throw it to Todd, so you can kind of process it. Do you think Washington had an obligation to basically have historical ties to the Redskins name, ushering in this new era? Do you think they was required to do so? Do you think it was more of like they maybe should have done that as a kind of a consideration, or what? Like as Corey mentioned, there's two different generations, right? There's like an old school generation that's been following for years, and now there's some of us that's been seeing bad football for almost 30 years now.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good to have a fresh perspective. Like, what's your thoughts on that, Todd?
It's a great question. The thing is, people tie the name to the history way too much. That's the first problem. So the whole name and a lot of the potential names from the history were completely unusable for the same reason that the name was changed from Redskins. You couldn't do anything native, but the whole thing was based on native. So you couldn't do Spears, you couldn't do Skins, you couldn't do Natives, you couldn't do Braves. At that point, the only name options you're left with that tie into the history are like Hogs and Burgundy and Gold. And Burgundy and Gold is not a real name option. So it's really just Hogs, not Red Hogs, not Warthogs, not Warhogs, just Hogs. That's all you have as a name to tie into the history. What they're doing is they are allowing the history to kind of tie in itself because it happened and let it tie into the brand more than the name. 1932, the Super Bowl champion years, which they do need to fix that. But
I saw that today.
But
interesting.
I think that they are putting in a concerted effort to say, hey, like those championships that we won, that was this organization. This organization was the one founded in 1932. We are still Washington and we'll always be Washington. And as a brand, we will make sure to capture that history. But as a name, we are going to move forward. And as a brand, we're going to move forward while keeping the history.
Sure.
Yeah. So people lose the history, but the history happened. You can't take it away or erase it.
I agree.
It happened. We're still in Washington. So, yeah, I think that they are finding that balance, and I think they're doing an okay job because, again, Hogs is the only name that ties in with the history that was even potentially an option, in my opinion.
Got you. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Todd took the words right out of my mouth in that respect. And I at the end of the day, I said this on Reel's channel. I said they don't owe us a damn thing as far as maintaining the history. They don't owe it to us because this isn't a college or university. It's a professional football team, and they can do whatever they want to. As we've probably seen in the name, like the way a lot of people feel today about the name and the change. They didn't have to do any of what they did, but they did it. They listened. but they're going to go a certain way. And I do think that they did take into consideration some things. A lot of people were high on not changing the colors, right? They didn't change the colors. They updated. Stay true to our history. They represent those 3 stars in the back. They're talking about the Super Bowl. That is referencing your past. You had a lot of alumni there. Hell, Brian Arakpo came. He was making cupcakes in Nashville and came up here and did it. And I'm like, so it's good. And I'm surprised Jordan Reed even knew where he was to even come up there. But
oh my God,
I
that's
was
awful.
Very,
that's a low blow.
Look, I'm just saying, I love Jordan Reed. Don't get me wrong.
I love Jordan Reed too.
But yeah, man, I think it was I think it was done as safe as possible. And I think as far as, scrutinization, whatever, they just wanted something that was scrutinized free. And what I mean by that is you don't have
safe
to,
as possible, right?
Yeah,
safe
yeah. You don't have to say,
Exactly.
because it was founded on, the argument is it was a slur, right? Redskins was a slur. No matter how you cut it, whatever you say, whether it's 10 people or 1,000 people that say it, if somebody has a problem with that, I mean, you just it got to talking about the political stance and everything rather than talking about a football team. We can get over the name. We got a name. Just talk about what's going on in the field, man. So,
gotcha.
yeah.
And thank you, Corey, for that. So
Yeah.
while Corey was talking, we actually are joined by Keith Gray from the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. How you doing, Mr. Keith? How's everything going?
Man, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah, man.
Even with myself, man. I've been self-reflecting, and I realize, like, I'm old. Like,
I'm like, yeah, no,
I still got swag though. Listen, I still got drip. So, all right.
I'd like everybody to know that this guy broke the news at training camp last summer, and we wanted no parts of hearing it.
Hey, so Keith,
apparently there's a video that's going to be tweeted out later tonight that someone was recording me giving my commander spiel at camp and why. And I mentioned, I did mention a lot of things, but guys, listen, at the end of the day, it wasn't any inside information. I'm no different than any of you guys.
You
right?
called that crest shit to a T, bro.
to a T. Here's why I'm not going to make you, sir, buy me a hat or wear a Dak Prescott t-shirt from our bet.
Please make him wear a Dak Prescott jersey. Come on, I'll be kind of hot though. Go on.
After I tweeted that shit out, I got DM'd by some unnamed people that were like, bro, could you not have been more spot on to the thought processes that's going behind closed doors? And so that gave me some kind of clue that, God, I'm onto something. When really all I did was just use logic, right? And I decided, okay, if the name isn't going to be Red Wolves, the other names were trash. Commanders was only like the least trash, right? Okay, that's honesty. It was the least trash. Fan favorite was Red Wolves. I don't know. I'm kind of regretting the whole Red Wolves. Forgive my dog. But
he's howling for the Wolves.
Yeah. There you go, Red Wolves. But to get off track, I ain't trying to sit here and be like, I know it all. It's just things started getting me more and more confident about that specific name. And then I started flipping it when I realized, man, that Jason was so good with the misdirection for the majority of this time frame. It even had me wondering, like, bro, are they hoodwinking me on what they're saying? Like, are they, it had me guessing. So you're not going to catch me sitting here, oh, I knew it all. I just play around on Twitter and I'm, do the whole smiley face, like, I knew. That's just all fun and games. At the end of the day, I just use logic, right? And then people were kind of solidifying some things that I were saying, and I'm like, all right, makes sense. But again, I wasn't going to sit there and do nothing, and I damn sure wasn't going to ruin anything for anybody. But I also damn sure wasn't going to put a parrot like I normally do during player offseason free agency.
When it's official, the cock and the parrot's
right. Usually, when I throw the parrot out there, that means I'm pretty certain that this is in play or it's going to happen. Doesn't mean that it will, and I get backfire on that too, and that's fine. That's just the name of the game of this. But again, at the end of the day, I'm just like you guys. I'm literally just a couch dude, right? So I'm not trying to sit here and be anybody more than that.
So Keith, real quick, I'm gonna throw the mic right back to you in a second. So I want to ask you a question, right? So what you missed earlier, right? So basically, we asked everyone in the group, what's your overall impressions of the name altogether? Are you happy with it? Are you upset? How are you feeling right now? And the second question was basically, Jason Wright talked about maintaining history, maintaining a legacy, connecting the past with the future. Do you think there should have been an obligation for the Washington football team to tie the history into the new name? Or do you think, because of the past, incompetence for the past 20, 30 years, was it good to have a fresh start? What do you think about that?
So those are two great questions. The first thing I'll tell you is I grew up military, 20 years. I can relate to commanders. I mean, my dad was never a commander, but I get the sense of it. I understand it. And yes, I can accept it, right? Just for my own personal reasons. So yeah, commanders is okay to me. I can live with that and I can move on and watch football. To the second question, the problem that I'm having currently and why I have to rethink my whole life at this point is 2 years ago, the name Redskins was retired. So I'm not even talking about Redskins anymore at this point. Okay. That name's gone. Corey said what he said. I don't know if I would agree with it 100%, but I understand what he's saying. And we're in different times now. And so an old head like me has to accept that. Right. So I did. So to go back to, that question, I don't think that they did a good enough job tying the history into this. I'm not seeing it. I think some of the things that they did it's a stretch. It was a nice thought, but I don't think it's executed and translated properly. However, the only reason why I'm right now kind of torn is because it was preached from the start that this was going to happen. History is going to be tied to the name. And all I see right now, gentlemen, is established in 1932, and I see burgundy and some gold, and I see jersey looks, which I'm okay with, except for that white jersey. But anyways, listen, I can learn to like that jersey. If they listen, nothing that they're doing right now is set in stone. Changes are going to be made or can be made. And so I'm okay with it, man. Everyone's opinions are subjective to change based upon what this team does. So I'm cool with that. Right. Like, if the jersey is my only complaint, then I'm good. And that's kind of the way that I was seeing it. What I wish they would have done, though, now that I look back, is you retired Redskins, you retired the Native American logo. You probably should have just retired the history too and just let that go. That might have been hard for me to do in the beginning, and I might have bitched and complained. But again, I'm allowed to subject my opinion of change.
Yeah, everyone got their own opinion.
Right?
Sure.
I can change my opinion through time, because what happens then, gentlemen, which is why I've changed, is I listen to you guys, right? You guys are the younger crowd, in this sense. And you guys have come up with some pretty good reasonings onto why I should look differently or have different opinions. And I actually value what you guys are saying on Twitter, because most of you haven't seen the glory days. So how can I fault you, right, for a name change? I can't. You've witnessed crap your whole entire life. So if the name change is going to help that process with everyone, I'm actually kind of cool with that. I just wish they would have just said, look, we're going to do our best to try to tie, but let's move on. Let's create new history with this new name, which they're going to do, but let's create new history, and let's not focus so much on trying to appease the old fan base. I would have been mad, but I would have gotten over it. But then I look and I say, George, a month from now, I'll probably get over this too. Right. So
I think it'll take some time. Let's actually talk about, I'll throw this out here, and Rio, I'm going to address you if you don't mind. Rio, Keith, I talked to all you guys throughout the year. I know Rio and Keith in particular, you guys were actual fan ambassadors, were part of the whole, stakeholder feedback and got reached out to and so on and so forth. Now that the final product is rolled out, do you feel like fan input was genuinely taken? Do you think there were some good intentions with it? How do you feel about all of that all together? I don't want to put you on the spot. You can say,
no, you're good. You're good. I think through people like Jason, Joey, Maggie, Wesley, the people who actually took our input in and let us have a say in the situation, I think it was genuine. It was all real coming from their end. But what I think ultimately was the case was that Dan Snyder immediately had a name that he had picked out, and per usual, the people under him, he was like, you know what? Go get everybody involved. I want y'all to talk to everybody. I want to see what reception is like. I want some fan input. but ultimately we're gonna go with what I picked because that's total Dan Snyder move. But I think
So hold on for 1 second. Do we all agree that Dan Snyder just made a decision on this? Do you guys all think that? Like, it was. What do you guys think?
I think
100%.
Probably, yeah.
I think
Probably,
it's
yeah.
Dan Snyder and the team of actually intelligent people that works under him. They went with the safest option. Coming off a controversial moniker, they wanted to pick the safest, blandest. You're not going to find something controversial about this name. And it sounds like, whether you like it or not, it sounds like a DC name. The Capitals, the only DC team that doesn't have a DC name that sounds like it is the Wizards, because like Fred Smoot said, he's never seen Gandalf or Harry Potter of Gallery Place. He's never seen him, but he, command. It makes sense. It's dry, but it's safe, and I think they wanted to go the safe option. And I see Roger in the chat, bro. Those high school varsity jackets look great. Like, nah, bro. Sure. Like, us peasants will never be able to have access to such, but I love those things.
Can I add to the ambassador?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So I agree 100% with everything that Rio said. I think that it was translated to us differently on what we thought the program was going to be to what they really wanted. They really wanted to grab people like myself. I hate saying that because, like, I'm trying to be humble, like, if that makes sense. But Rio too, because Rio's very outspoken, out there on Twitter. I think what they were looking for, and people like us, was to engage with fans, right? Talk about what Rio thinks would be cool, and then people are going to interact and engage with that. Then you've got me, who is a different age demographic, but yet somehow people listen to my bullshit on Twitter. And so again, I'm going to engage with a lot of people as well. And then they're looking at that information and they're using it to their advantage. What we ambassadors thought was going to happen is that we were going to be involved in a lot more. And actually we weren't. Now that could have been their intentions, George, but it was poorly executed. Now, when I say that, that is at no fault to the person who created the program, the people that were running the program. This was something new to them. We were guinea pigs to this situation. If they choose to go on with the program, it'll be better because they'll have a better understanding. And at the end of the day, what they want was fan involvement. And I think we all realized how overwhelming that became. And so when you have all these people that have all their different opinions, right? I was getting overwhelmed. I'm sure Rio was getting overwhelmed. Rio just took the approach of, I don't really care what you think. The band sucks, right? I was a little bit different in that process, but I respect Rio for his honesty in that. And the one thing that I learned with the people that put this program together was they appreciated our honesty, whether we liked what they were doing or not. So program made sense. But if I felt overwhelmed about getting fans engaged, I can only imagine what they were going through.
Yeah, I actually felt bad for you, Keith. That, like, I don't really know Joey like that. Talking to you and Rio, you guys seem to say some glowing things about Joey.
Phenomenal guy.
Great guy.
I actually like Jason a lot. Jason was actually good people. Jason,
great guy.
He reached out to me. He called me. We had like a 30-minute phone conference about like the actual name change and my input. He actually called me right after the Sean Taylor incident. He's like, "Hey George, like he word for verbatim, George, I fucked up on the Sean Taylor situation. Yep. What can I do to kind of fix it? Give me some feedback and give me some connection there." And he also asked me, "Hey George, we're moving ahead with a new name coming up. What do we do? What's up, Roberts?" And basically we're like, how do I connect this new name to the past? Like, how do I kind of go that direction too? And I was giving him some ideas there. So I felt like there was some good intentions there. And Keith, you got lit up a lot. I know, like, you love to kind of poke the bear a little bit. And I think people were kind of coming at you kind of hard. So sure. I did kind of see that regard.
I asked for a lot of it. So, I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I enjoyed the back and forth banner. Yeah. But I really did try to defend the program because I believed in the program. I just feel that if they choose to do this program, it's, I want to be selfish here and be like, yeah, I want to be a part of it. But I also do believe that other people should be a part of it. And I think if they continue to do it, it's going to be better executed.
Gotcha. I think it's.
I don't
look
lie.
at it
I don't
from
lie. I
the-
wish we was a part of this damn rollout.
Now we got hot. Like Rio's on
For
stage
sure.
dancing around. It'd be funny.
I'm a little salty. I was like, hey, why couldn't I be in the trailer talking about it was this a legacy? It's tradition. Like, I'm so
funny. All right, so real quick, let's kind of pivot a little bit. I'm looking at the chat right now. Roger Smith said they did not do a good job. It's a colossal failure. 2 years for this rebrand with uncreative, bland uniforms, and why I need to wear those dumbass high school starter jackets. Corey, what do you think about that, man? Do you think it was a bad rollout, failed altogether? What do you think about that?
Shout out to my boy Roger.
That's my guy.
He always supports me over there on the Warpath. But
yeah,
it was sloppy.
Okay.
It was even with the rollout on the 15-minute video. There were a lot of cringe moments.
It was like
You had
watching
Tanya
outtakes
out
of The
there
Office
saying,
for real.
Ta-da!
That's what I heard. I heard.
Dan's little joke too. That was a little
Mhm.
cringe.
sorry,
It
hold on.
seemed like it was like a little hasty at moments.
Mhm.
But I've come to expect that there's going to be a little rough edges. I think that we all knew something was going to be sloppy when they said it was going to be on the Today Show. But even saying that too, I think they did the best job that they could do. It could have been better, yeah. It could have been a whole heck of a lot worse.
Oh, for sure.
But they had to do what they had to do. And then you had our boy JP Finley was probably in the chopper filming last night.
That was peak
JP
Washington football
and
Twitter right
Mitch
there.
and
That
all
was
them
hilarious.
guys,
Like,
they
freaking,
were right there
zooming
looking
in
at
from
it.
like 400 yards away. That's
It is what it
hilarious.
is, though, fellas.
That's funny. All right, so real quick, let's talk about the whole branding and merchandise. So I think going into this whole rename, this whole rebrand, people talked about I don't really necessarily care about the name. I care more about the merchandise and branding and the jerseys. There was a contingent that kind of felt that way. And on the overlay right now, I'm kind of showing you little snippets of the jerseys and kind of a little previews right here. Todd, we'll start off with you, man. How do you feel about this? Do you feel that are you a fan of the jerseys? Do you think they were too forward thinking? Do you think they don't connect to the past? Do you like them? Like, what are you thinking?
No, I like the forward thinking. So the team actually just dropped something basically explaining everything about the design for each uniform.
I gotta see that. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
if you know anything, drop something. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, they're talking about how the gradient is forward. It's the first team to have that forward thinking, that sort of thing. The diamond fade print is a nod to the diamond shape of DC's boundary. The stars on the collar are not to DC's flag.
That's fire.
The number
That's
style.
cool. I do like that. It's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, so that sort of thing. You look back at the old uniforms, and I tweeted out the old ones versus the new ones. The uniforms have been the same for a very long time. A very long time. They haven't been simple in a clean way. They've been simple in a simple way. Just burgundy, gold, white, burgundy, white, gold, white, burgundy, gold. So I like them. I like the forward thinkingness of it. And I really like that they added a black, because I think that will cater to a younger crowd, especially. And they got to think about that because they lost an entire generation of fans. So as much as, the Glory Days fans hate that they cater to younger fans, there will be no younger fans if they don't start catering to the younger fans here. So I like the black. I think that was a really good decision.
I want to notate.
Go ahead. Let's do one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So all I was going to say is I kind of agree with Todd right there. I do think that these are unique. These are unique uniforms. I do feel like it might create like an uncomfortable sense because you're not used to seeing something like this either in the NFL and for Washington. I just feel like it's just so different for us. I do see the upward potential for like, hey, this is actually if we start winning and like we're wearing these black jerseys on Monday Night Football and it's like we're playing for the NFC East. I think we can kind of gain a lot of momentum. People will like that, but it is uncomfortable. So yeah, Keith, what are you going to say about it? How do you feel? Because I know you're like a big diehard and you've been following for years.
Well, I've never been a traditionalist. I've always been screaming for the past few years that we should have our uniforms needed to get modern with the times of the NFL today as opposed to yesterday. So I've always been on board with that. And I know he wasn't strictly talking based upon me, but I'm not one of those older dudes that was like, screw the younger fan base. I had a complete understanding that the younger fan base is the future. Right. My kids, your kids will be, for those who don't have and those who do, like our kids are the future. So, your guys' input was just as much valuable to all of this as it was for us old heads. I'm not stuck on the old head theory anymore of what things should be, because again, I'm not a traditionalist. I just want things to make sense. Right. And what I saw out of these 3 jerseys, and everyone knows how I feel about the white jersey, so I'm not even going to get into it. But what I did see through all 3 of these jerseys was they were all different. And when I say different, it does look like
no
that
cohesiveness.
Team, right. There's no cohesiveness, but that's okay.
I like
because
it.
What it looks like is that the team really did look into the socials of what a lot of people were saying. And they actually tried to take all the generations and implement the things that we were saying. Like the old heads like me was like, I like the stripes. Okay, well, they were like, well, we probably don't like the 3 stripes, but we do like that yellow stripe. That's fire. So let's go ahead and put that on there. Now that's going to appease everyone for the most part, right? And so I just think that they took a little bit from what people were saying through all the different generations, and they added that to their uniforms. And I think that that's kind of why I had to self-reflect about all of this today, because of course I was harsh on that white jersey, but I get it. I understand it. And I hope that that's the reasoning. And that's where they truly got their fan input from all of the generations, is the way that I see it. I don't like them all, but I do agree. Like, I like the fact that the black uniform, it's different. I know a lot of people trash the W in front of the helmet, but I applaud at the fact that it's different from other helmets in the NFL, right? Then you go to the burgundy jersey. There goes kind of they're
classic.
Still trying to the classic version. And then you've got the white jersey that is this new version. Whether I like it or not, don't matter. It's just my opinion. My opinion means nothing to no one, right? And I understand that. I don't want them to get away, because I personally liked our old white jerseys. I just like that color combination.
Those were solid,
yeah.
So when you change that color combination on the white jersey, it bothers me because it doesn't match with the helmet from what I can see in pictures. Now, game day or when I can see it in person, I might, again, that goes to where I can change my mind. I can flip-flop, but it's okay, because at the end of the day, my answers or my opinions aren't right. They're not wrong. They're just my opinions. So roll with it.
Right. Can I add something real quick too, George?
Go ahead, Ty. Good job on.
Personally, I don't know about y'all. I have always been a fan. I mean, everybody likes the white on white, the burgundy on burgundy. I've always been a fan of the same colored uniform. And I said I would love, like, let's say if the name was Wolves, I would love an all white and all burgundy and all black and an all gray or something like that. The fact that if this is really going to be their true home and away, like, obviously they can mix and match, but their base is the in sync, the same bottoms and tops. I love that.
Me too.
There's a couple tweaks to be made to certain things, but overall, I love that, and that's different. Not a lot of teams do that.
Yeah, me too. And I feel like there also could have been like it's also like the experimental phase. Like there definitely could be little stripes and detail on the pants and stuff like that. But I feel like with the uniforms looking so drastically different, since Nike is running the whole process of our rebrand, they got to experiment with what works. Look at teams like the Seahawks since Nike's got the contract. Look how many times the uniforms have changed. They announced there's going to be a 4th uniform that's going to be fan design. I think that's actually going to take fan.
Is that true, Rio? I didn't hear that yet. Is that true?
Jason said it's that with JP
awesome.
Finley on the radio today. He also said that we should be in our new venue. He guaranteed it by 2027. That's a talk for another time. But I think they're trying to see what works, man. They're trying to cater to so many different demographics and opinions, and they want to try something new. Like they gave you the traditional look with the burgundy and gold, the classic look of the team. Maybe the font of Commanders with the bold lining above and below. Maybe that's a little much. Maybe the font's a little too big. But and then the white jerseys, they're different. They're very different. There's something to get used to, but they look like a completely different monster when you see them laying on apartment carpet with 420 res, and when you see them on Chase Young in the video. They look phenomenal on Chase. And the black uniforms look crazy too. I made a joke like the black uniforms, you'll get a better look of how dripped out they can be when a skill player or Chase or someone
we talked about that before. I agree with you, Rio.
Because John Allen, you know, he got too much drip to him, you know what I'm saying? He's a blue collar, hardy, you know what I'm saying? I build computers type guy, man. Let Terry, let Gibson or somebody throw them Jones. Let Landon Collins throw them on and watch how good the black uniforms are.
I agree.
Camo was in play too,
Terry
just so
McLaurin,
you
that
guys
looks
know.
pretty cool. Go ahead,
She said-
Keith. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Camo is in play too. I mean, we're
Okay.
a military team now. Salute to service is huge. It's going to be in play. There's just no time frame, so it's very difficult to tell when that's going to happen. But it's not an if; it's going to be a when.
Looking
Okay,
at
so I mean, so if we all kind of process that, right? So basically, you know, we have a bunch of different forward-thinking jerseys. There's a fan favorite jersey coming out pretty soon. They're talking about maybe a mascot coming out too. So like all
gonna be a wolf.
together, I mean,
I'm applying for
obviously,
the
I mean,
mascot.
it's gonna be a wolf for sure. It's gonna be Rio,
gonna be
or
Keith
gonna be
dressed
Keith
up
probably.
like a wolf
He'll be,
commander.
he'll be running on the field running around. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. Walking away, right? I felt like today was generally negative. Is that fair to say amongst the group that it was a negative reation across
amongst
the
the
board?
national media? I think that it's being well received. It's just
I was curious about that.
Yeah,
How was
go ahead and go through the channel. A lot of people like what we're doing. A lot of it's because people respect Ron and Jason. Those are respectable people, and they respect the work being put into it and what they have to say. Go ahead and check the national reception of it. Obviously, here in the DMV and our fan base, you know what I'm saying? They're still reeling from losing their precious Redskins name.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
I think that we're just in such a unique situation now, and again, to touch base on this is there's going to be changes later on down the road.
For sure.
You know, they're gonna let the fans be a part of that. Now, whether they go with it or not is a different story. It's the same thing with this fan jersey. I'm a little skeptical on that. They're going to listen to all of our input, put something together, but it's not going to be strictly what we want, because at the end of the day, there's a decision maker.
That jersey's probably going to look crazy.
Right, absolutely. It'd be the ugliest jersey. It would be the ugliest jersey.
They definitely let
NFL
kids
history.
design that shit.
Right.
Yeah, so
But
funny.
again, I like the idea of what they're trying to do. Again, it goes to fan involvement. I just want to see, I want to see better. When you talk about fan involvement, I want to see what's the word I'm looking for? Just better structure to that. I want to see more implementation from the fans, and it actually be from the fans, not just an optics version, right? And me, I guess this is why I don't have an issue with this, is because to tell you how old, well, I always say I'm old. I'm not that old,
Good,
but
man.
I started going to UCF, man, when they were just a tiny college, dude. They're huge now, and obviously their football program has even grown. I went to UCF back in the Dante Culpepper, Asante Samuel days, right? And Brandon Marshall. So all three were there when I was there. Culpepper actually was on his way out the door.
I love Culpepper. He's a great player too.
Anyways, my point to bringing up UCF is, man, when I started there, it was just black and gold. Right, that was their main colors, and then it was just UCF. Then they changed their logo to a knight. Then they changed their logo to going from black and gold. Now they're wearing white unis, and they're wearing white helmets, and they've got the state of Florida. Then they've got UCF over the state of Florida. The UCF then becomes a different font. Then they also put knights and script on their helmets. So my point is like, there's no tradition anymore. We're beginning a new tradition, and so anything can happen. And I think that that's what truly people need to understand at this point, is what we're seeing today is not going to always be the final product, because we have not established what we established or what was established when the team was Redskins. And so the older generation, I think, needs to think that same way too. But I'm not here to tell anybody how to feel on anything, and I'm not going to do that, because, man, I've been on a roller coaster for 2 years. I was mad, angry, get off my grass. I hate you. You young kids, screw Red Wolves. I hate you young kids for even mentioning that. Ain't nobody howling at games. Well, ain't nobody oinking at games. Ain't nobody saluting at games. Ain't nobody commanding anything.
Now we big saluting at games.
Bro, we're just
I think we get hyped up from that.
I mean, I'll salute. But at the end of the day, what we all want as
awesome.
fans, and it's been said already on this podcast, we want a good product out on the field that's going to win and bring a better culture, a winning, consistent culture.
Give me a quarterback.
That's it.
Yep.
We do need a
And
quarterback.
that's what I'm
QB.
afraid of.
Commander
You bring up that
Deshaun.
quarterback, and I'll shut up. I'm not going to talk long on this because I know you guys got shit to do. But the thing I'm afraid of now, though, is Dan's going to make a wrong decision on this quarterback, because now we got this new name, we got everything. So now they're going to try to dangle
Commander
some Band-Aid
Garoppolo.
shit in front of us, and I ain't trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it.
So
Sorry.
Yeah, Let me say this real quick. One thing, shout out to Zach and everyone in the chat. Thank you for hitting up everything and dropping things over here. They said some good things about basically. I love the whole matte sparkled helmet that Zach talked about.
That shit is
The
gorgeous.
Minnesota Vikings helmet's awesome. I actually like that a lot too. So I like we're kind of going that direction there. They're talking about, it seems like I don't know how you guys are feeling. Like seeing all the negativity, all the things that happened last night, I did kind of feel like a negativity about this, but talking to you guys, I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable because I do think there is some potential upcoming over there. So I do kind of like that. I do think once we start winning and getting a quarterback, that will make a major difference. So I am kind of, winning will cure all. And I think if we win, I think Commanders will kind of have more of like an authoritative, kind of stronger name and stronger impact across the nation. So that'd be pretty good. Let's do one more. We have 45 minutes into the podcast. I want to get you out of here in 5-10 minutes. Let's talk about the actual rollout. So I kind of missed that today. I was at work. So basically, I heard it was kind of messy. Like, I don't know what you guys think. So it was on the Today Show. And what happened with the satellite surprises? Were there I think Jonathan Allen went to like his old high school and kind of gave out merch. That was pretty cool. I kind of like that.
The Teslas.
The Teslas were all wrapped with the new Washington logo. How do you guys feel about the W? Do you guys like the new W or what?
It looks great on the helmet.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's
Okay,
fine.
it's
It looks great on the helmet, but it's cool. It's not that.
I think it looked cool with the
W, but I learned to like it. So the same thing's going to happen with this one.
Yeah. Doug, this is how the rollout went. All right, guys, what's the name going to be? We the Commanders.
And then Jason was like,
very
"Yep,
good
the
Doug Williams
Commanders."
voice. He was perfect. All together, like I guess, how was it? Did any of you guys go to FedEx? How was that there?
No.
Okay.
I was not at FedEx.
To be honest,
I wish because they said Tanya Snyder was out there buying people whatever they want in the store, and they was giving out good free stuff, not just like the nonsense, the scraps, the shit they send to Africa after a team loses the Super Bowl. Like they was buying real stuff out there.
I'll be honest with you. Like I watched the 15-minute clip on like I guess at Commanders on Twitter right now. They have changed the handle already and take commands already on there already. It looked kind of like, I'm not being negative, but it looked real like kind of sad. I was like, Tanya was up there and Dan was up there, and Dan was like, "Hi, my name is Dan Slater." It seemed very scripted and kind of scared to kind of get off of the script over there. I don't know. Like, I mean, people were saying things that weren't really clapping that much. Like, what was your impressions from that?
It was messy.
Like, I think it was a tough spot for one. You couldn't have fans there because you can't have a live fan reaction to a name that they may not like, and you're getting booed at your announcement for the name. You have the media there. The media doesn't care. They're not going to clap. There's not going to be any excitement. So it's already going to be dry and awkward.
Yeah.
Did it on a cold Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And then
got to work.
Right, exactly. And then the way they did it on the Today Show was just backwards to me. The Today Show, in my opinion, should have been after the announcement, or the announcement on the Today Show should have been the video and then the press conference. So it kind of feels like it slipped through the cracks. Like they just had so much going on, and then they were like, "Wait, what are we gonna do for the announcement?"
Yeah, they didn't know where to stand.
Corey, look like they're about to say something. Let me throw in a nugget real quick. My man, they're lighting the monuments and landmarks of DC up burgundy and gold tonight, starting at 6:30. So when Joey told me that when he said they're gonna paint the town burgundy and gold, that's what he meant. And those Teslas riding around DMV, they're giving out free merch and sending alumni to like take pictures and give stuff out to people. So there's been effort put into this, and there's supposed to be stuff like this going out throughout the month. So
thank you for that nugget, Rio. Real quick, one thing I kind of missed today too, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I saw a tweet from Mario Bowser basically saying that like potentially they want to accept Washington back into the city. I'm hearing a kind of laughing over there. Like, Corey, what do you think? I see you shaking your head. Do you feel like it's not
that woman when shakes with the wind?
That shit ain't coming to DC, man. That shit coming to Virginia.
You don't think so?
Hell, that's coming to Prince William or Loudoun.
Yeah. Keith, Todd, how do you feel about
that? The stadium does belong in DC, in my opinion, but but Prince William would be nice because I'm in Prince William now. It would be cool to see the stadium. Look, traffic, it's fine with me. All they got to do on Sundays is switch the express lanes on 95 to head south, and we are good to go. No problem.
Can I interject on that one? The only thing with Prince William County, and I said this earlier, they couldn't keep a single baseball team because they were too cheap.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Loudoun.
They could. That's why
Yeah.
the peanuts are in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming to Prince William.
Oh yeah. Also, the city of Woodbridge doesn't deserve anything close to a stadium.
For me, I want DC. I want National Harbor. I'm a Maryland guy. I think I'm the only Maryland guy in the room. I have 3 Virginia guys and a Jersey guy. Like I'm telling y'all right now, right? So PG County, they hold it down. I'm saying that right now. Shout out to the PG County crew in here. They hold it down in regard to being at the games and kind of support, and even being like the employees and workers at the stadium. They hold it down over there. I'm Montgomery County, and we're kind of like split half and half. Like I'm telling you guys right now, when I walk into a Safeway around here, I see Ravens, I see Washington football, I see Cowboys and Steelers. Like we are kind of like a county that's up for debate. And I'm afraid that basically if we do move to Virginia, that I see potentially like, people not necessarily even following the team when it goes down there, especially with this whole Commanders issue. So that's worrisome to me, but that's for another day right there. Let's bring it on home. You guys have been very generous with your time. What's your overall lasting impressions? Are you happy with the team? How long do you think it's going to take for the fans to kind of get over this? Let's all break it down real quick. Rio, what do you think, man? Were you happy with the rollout? Is there any animosity? Are you willing to, accept this going forward? How you feeling all together?
The rollout was flawed, like we all are, because we're human. It's Washington, so the rollout could have went a lot worse. Bruce Allen would have told the team name a year and a half ago, and I'm okay with. I like how the merch looks. I like how the uniforms look, and I'm excited for a new future of Washington. Man, go get me a quarterback. Go get me Commander Wilson or somebody. Go get me someone to command the huddle, and let's get it rolling, man. Because a name will be an afterthought when the bullets start flying in September. And I think it's awesome that I will watch the Pro Bowl just to see John Allen wear the Matt helmet this weekend, because he's actually
is he wearing this weekend?
Yep, they already showed it. He's bringing the Matt Burgundy helmet to wear this weekend. I'll watch just to see the helmet in action.
That's awesome. And Rhea, I'm with you there, man. I think it's kind of nice to usher in a new era. Obviously, transition kind of hurts, and things are definitely, it's hard to experience change. But at the same time, I'm happy to even be a part of it. Happy to have this conversation with you guys, and hopefully we'll start seeing some things in the future. What did you say? What did you say?
You know what hurts? Losing. And that's all I know. So the name change, it didn't hurt me none.
Corey, what's your lasting thoughts on today?
I'm content. I thought they did as well as they could have done. I think the uniforms are clean for the most part, but I'm like Keith, that white one is going to take a couple of opportunities. It's going to take some time for me to process that. But at the end of the day, it's got to be what's on the side of the helmet, right? Accrue W's, win ball games. Nobody will give a damn what your name is if you just go out there and win. Commanders, Redskins, football team, whatever, just win, and you won't hear nothing. So yeah, I'm content with it, and I just thought Doug could have been setting up a little bit higher instead of slouching when he said the name.
Doug, he's just a chill dude. I don't know if you know.
He said it with his chest though.
Yeah, he did.
All right, Keith, what about you? Keith, Todd, we'll bring it on home.
Keith, you going?
I mean, I've already said a lot. Oh, am I on?
Yeah,
I've pretty much look. I'm not happy about everything, but I never expected to be. So it's just one of those. It's a work in progress, man. That's the way I'm going to look at it. At the end of the day, I'm still going to represent the hog farmers out there and do my charity thing. I'm gonna, it's going to look like I'm out there rah-rah. Man, I'm just here for a good time, watch football, and meet cool people. That's it.
Yep. All right, time at home.
I would say I am like I'm content. I'm glad more than anything that we're done talking about this name or that name, especially when it was like a month ago and people were still suggesting new names. I was like, come on, dude. Like,
yeah,
LOL and Admirals. That name was never considered.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
I'm glad brought up to anyone.
Right. I'm glad that we can now just like be in the acceptance, move forward phase. And I mean, everyone said it's all about winning. It is though a lot of pressure on Rivera this year, aside from this name stuff. But with this name stuff, this would be the best year to break that, streak of not winning more than 10 games. On the flip side, if you have a down year, man, that'll be really low. Right.
Effects, I agree.
But I think that some of this can provide some new energy for the team. and it'll maybe weed out some of the real fans from the fans who, it's fine anyway. The last thing I'm going to say, though, is when the Washington Commanders won a Super Bowl, if you jump ship today, you're not allowed to jump back on Super Bowl week. Okay, that's the last thing I'm going to say. If they win a Super Bowl, it will be as the Commanders.
All right, man. Appreciate that. So let's bring it on home. So thank you for everything, guys. Let's kind of pass the mic around, talk about some upcoming projects, what your socials are. We'll kind of see how it goes. So Rio, break it down, man. Send us out. What are your socials? What are you working on?
At Rio_Robinson91, Rambling with Rio YouTube channel and podcast, man. Tomorrow, I'm actually talking to a product of the DMV, a professional soccer goalie, my guy Evan Newton, who happens to be a diehard Washington fan. He's actually trying to get a shot at being a kicker in the league one day. So I got some interesting, kickers come and go here. So we got some interesting stuff coming up on the show. I think I'm gonna get Doug Williams on next week. And one more nugget before I go. According to Ian Rappaport, according to Fanatics, since launching the Commanders name, they're the top-selling team overall on all sports on Fanatics. Terry and Chase's burgundy jerseys are in the top 5 ahead of Tom Brady's red jersey on the site. So for everyone, Terry and Chase. And for those saying that nobody's going to buy the merch, you're wrong. People will buy the shit.
There you go. Yeah, it's new, man, for sure. All right, Corey, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me at Sanchez405 on Twitter, Instagram, on the Warpath on YouTube. Gonna have a reaction video tomorrow because I think folks will be able to digest it a little better instead of today.
Right.
But come and check us out. We've got I've got a special interview coming up with one of our media members on February 16th, so stay tuned for that. And looking forward to it, and appreciate you for having me on here, George.
Of course, man. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate that. Keith, what about you, bro?
Yeah, on the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, if you want. You can also catch me on Twitter at KGSkins26. Chances are I don't really want you following me. I got enough problems. And other than that, man, I am kind of doing a charity thing. Hog farmers are doing squares. There's some spots left for the Super Bowl. If you're interested, go to Hog Farmers Twitter. You can also donate to hogfarmercharity.org. I'm also doing where people can throw food in my face. It's kind of like the official, not people, but my wife. It's kind of like the official dunk tank thing, except for no dunk tank. You're just slopping food and crap all over me. It's already raised over $1,200 thanks to Charles Leno and also the Rouillet family. I should say the Leno family as well. And then other people joining in. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my Twitter. Just DM me. I'll give you the information. It's so much easier. And I love everybody.
All right. Pascal, you're up, bud.
I don't know if you truly love everybody.
Yeah, I don't know about all that,
dude. No. At Tay in Todd podcast on Twitter, podcast on all platforms, and on YouTube, Tay and Todd podcast. Right now, what I'm working on is quarterback threads where I'm posting like 100 clips. So Malik Willis will be done here shortly. Then it'll go on to Kenny Pickett. Appreciate it. And then now that this name stuff is finally over, we'll talk about the name one time, and then we'll just start talking really quarterback, and then trying to get into some film review stuff from last year and whatnot. So I'm excited. At least in the off season, you can talk about whatever you want, and there's you can never have too much content because you need to find something to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. It's great content for you right there too. So guys, I'm George Carmi. You can find me at gcarmi21, host of the Full Press Washington podcast at FPC_Washington, on all major platforms and YouTube. It's a pleasure to have all of you guys on here. I'm actually going to have Al Galdi on Friday to talk some X's and O's, to talk about some free agent quarterbacks as well. So, definitely check us out. I'll be live probably around 4 p.m. on Friday, so we should be good. All right, guys. So thank you for everything. I really respect your time. Thank you for tuning in, for all the fans at home. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.